education of your already existing clients. A lot of your clients don't know about products that they can be utilizing. Some of them don't know how to properly utilize them. And some of them haven't purchased products because they're not training their dogs yet. So I am willing to bet you, in fact, it's a word that I don't normally use, but I'm actually willing to use the G word. Guarantee that you are going to get some level of increased sales as a result of this class. And you know what? If it doesn't work, then we can say we've tried, and I'll move on, and at least we gave it our best shot. And the owner was tickled by it. I think he liked the approach, and said okay. And so we set up a class, which they filled. 15 dogs, which is a huge class, and I taught. And at the end of the class, first lesson, I think we sold like $1,600 worth of stuff. Okay, so after that, I was extremely popular at this.
Oh, yeah.
They sold. We did a full 7-week class. They filled the second one the same way. Third lesson, or third series rather, a person walks in about halfway through my first lecture, introduces himself after the class, and says that he represents a company called Petco. Have I ever heard of them? Now, I'm in Los Angeles. I knew Petco was in San Diego. Petco wasn't nearly as big then as they are now. And I said, yeah, I've heard of you. I've been down in San Diego. I've seen the stores down there. He said, well, we're not just in San Diego. We're all over California. We're in a number of other states. And I love what you're doing here. In fact, I would love for you to do this, to start off in 5 or 6 stores all around the San Fernando Valley. To which I said yes. And that is how I became affiliated with Petco. So it was kind of a combination of being in the right place at the right time, but it was also a combination of how I presented myself. If I were teaching a class that was haphazard, disorganized, if I didn't come off as professional, chances are that man would have walked in, looked at the class, and walked right back out. The fact that I had not approached the store properly in the first place, if I'd have done it just like everybody else did, it's unlikely that I would have been teaching a class there, and who knows? I mean, you can make yourself crazy with the what ifs. But it is safe to say that that opened the door. I don't want this isn't really about me, it's about how one can put their best foot forward by creating your own corporate identity. But as a result of that, this is about 1988 or so. By 93, we're in about 50 stores all in and around Los Angeles. 94, we signed a contract with them for national. And it essentially took my company from a small, locally based company to about 550 trainers in 44 states at its peak at the end. Now, I don't want to suggest that because I was dressed nicely, that's what created this. A lot of things created this. But I will say this, you only get, we've all heard the adage, you only get one chance to make a first impression. The question is, what impression do you want to make? What impression do you want to make? And what impression do you want to avoid? And I've also found as I've given this lecture around the country that trainers find this topic, people find this topic a little problematic. Some prefer to just do a great job and simply let their actions speak for themselves. And they don't really want to focus on appearance or on marketing. In my opinion, this is a big mistake. Study after study tells us that within 3 seconds of an encounter, you're evaluated. People observe your mannerisms, your body language, your demeanor, your grooming, your watch, your shoes, your clothes. All make an indelible impression. By the way, it's funny, I'm giving this lecture. Like 10 minutes before I was supposed to start, I had my little Diet Coke over there, and in the heat I opened it and I sprayed myself. So I thought there was an excellent chance that I was going to come up here spotted, but I'm luckily dry. All of these things make an indelible impression. It may intrigue some, it may put off others. I know some people are uncomfortable with this. They don't like the idea of judgment or being judgmental. However, this doesn't change people's inclinations to do exactly that, nor is it likely to, as sociologists believe that this is a very ingrained behavior, and it's as old as humankind. People are visual, and that goes for both men and women, and they will evaluate you socially and on a business level. If you're at a level that causes a person to be comfortable, they may want to do business with you, or at least they need to be close to the idea. Now again, some people reject all of this. They say it's superficial and that they will win someone over based on the content of their message. Yet studies say that 93% of how you're evaluated is based on nonverbal interaction. Okay, so to put it another way, people do judge a book by their cover. Appearance is about marketing. Okay, in truth, anytime you tell somebody what you do, whether you show up for a job or whatever, you're marketing yourself. People are visual. And those that understand this, as well as how to effectively capitalize on our inclinations to judge, in part by what we see, have a huge advantage in business. By the way, I want to stress that this is just one piece. You know, people that are great at promoting themselves, great at putting an image out there, but don't follow through, that don't do good work, are not going to last. Okay, so it's not just about putting out a good image. You also have to back up with actions your words and what your appearance says. But appearances are extremely important. And by the way, when I talk about appearances, I'm not talking about being good looking. I mean, look at me. I mean, I'm not a movie star. It's not about being good looking. It's about coming across as professional, coming across as competent. And there are things that you can do to put that message out there. So briefly, getting back to the Petco thing. So okay, so now it's 4 or 5 years later from that first class, and I get a call from their corporate office down in San Diego. They want to know what's going on in LA, which is typical corporate stuff, right? One hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. Why don't they just talk to LA and find out, because they don't know. So they want me to come down. Their VP of operations wants me to come down and meet with him to discuss the potential in our relationship, as he calls it. No, I'm good with that. I think it's a great idea. So I hang up, got an appointment for 3 weeks down the road, and then it occurs to me, I'm not even sure how I should dress for this meeting. I mean, it's a pet store chain. Are they going to be like really corporate, running around in suits? I mean, are they going to be more casual? I don't know. And initially I think this, and then I forget about it, but as days go by, I really start to obsess about this. What am I going to wear? I'm pretty sure I've got a decent presentation. I've got that all together. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to dress. All right, I'm a little crazy about this. Now, a normal person probably would have just called down there and asked. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I've reached a point now where I can ask for directions, but I just could not do that. I mean, I just would have felt like a fool. So I eventually came up with a solution. And the solution was I drove 2.5 hours down to Petco and sat in their parking lot. I'm not kidding. For an hour, and just watched people walk in and out of their corporate offices. And I was thrilled as could be. Drove 3 hours home because traffic can be a bear. Absolutely happy because now I knew what to wear. Okay, and I'm wearing a sports coat and slacks and a tie. Probably didn't need to drive 2.5 hours to figure this out. Yes, I did. And in the end, I went in there and had a great meeting. Well, like I said, I was fully prepared. I had everything laid out. I knew exactly what I wanted to discuss. I had what I felt were reasonable numbers of answers for the questions that I anticipated they were going to ask. And as a result of that, and 2 or 3 other meetings, I wound up with their contract. Now, did the fact that I actually dressed and acted appropriately create this business relationship? No, it wasn't just appearance. But I found out a couple of years after that a year before I had that meeting, another trainer had the same opportunity I did.
Wow.
And she went to their offices, same as I did, in jeans and a t-shirt, and forgot half of her paperwork and never got through a second meeting. That's a true story. So it helps. It definitely helps to make a good first impression. And I can't overstress that. So really the question is, how do you promote yourself? Appearance and behavior. Personal appearance. Well groomed. I mean, some of this stuff is basic, but I'm going to go over it anyway. Hair neat, clean fingernails and breath, just decent hygiene, appropriately dressed, khaki pants, polo shirt, button-down shirt, non-frilly blouse, minimal jewelry, knee-high skirt, which I decided not to wear today, closed, sensible shoes, all suggesting a serious working professional in this business. Improper appearance, torn jeans, t-shirts, sandals, multiple piercings, excessive jewelry, short skirts, tank tops. Why is dress important? Because for most people, well-dressed means well-organized and well-kept. Okay, it's efficient. Unkempt means disorganized. And for many, that equates to a lack of trust in a business capacity. That's really what it boils down to. People look from your face to your feet. So even things like your shoes, if they're not well maintained, can put some clients off. Now I realize that some of this can get tough when you're working all day with dogs. I mean, they're stepping all over you. You're in dirt. You're on the grass. You don't have to have super polished, shiny shoes all the time. You just need to make sure that you are as well groomed as can reasonably be expected, and then not worry about it. But if you're coming in sandals, or you're coming in filthy clothing, unless you just have the misfortune of having a dog jump all over you and you don't have a change of clothes. I know trainers, by the way, that carry changes of clothes in their car for just this reason. Because when they're meeting a new client, or even when they're meeting already existing clients, they don't want to feel like they're coming in a non-professional fashion. I see some people nodding their heads. It's absolutely imperative. Other things that people will typically evaluate. Direct eye contact. Just a nice, it doesn't have to be a weird stare, just direct eye contact and one of those little, I'm here to train your dog, yeah. I think so. Okay. Nice handshake, nothing obnoxious or anything weird, just nothing limp-ish thing. Okay, just normal social skills. Oh, and a word on dressing down. I have known trainers, especially those that tended, and I'll tell you, after a while, I found myself having to fight this. I reached a point in my business where I spent a good deal of my time meeting potential clients, doing evaluations, scheduling jobs, and then delegating the work to other trainers. Okay, this is just how the business grew. And so literally over time, I became, in a sense, a salesperson. Not quite, but I wasn't working with dogs nearly the way I had been the first couple of years. And I found over time, because I didn't have to worry about them leaping all over me and tearing my stuff, that I could dress in a slightly different fashion, a little bit more of a, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, an upscale fashion. I found when I did, if I put on a sports coat or anything like that, the number of people that actually signed up for my programs went down. Why? Because they assumed that I wasn't a hands-on trainer. They assumed I was a salesperson. And for some, salespeople they're just not trusted. Okay, you're out to sell me something. Why would I take what you have to say seriously when you've got a vested interest in selling me what you want? So I found that I had to really learn to dress it back down. And even if I wasn't training, I literally had to dress like I was. So again, it's extremely important to be conscious of that image. Staff, same thing. The staff is an extension of your image. So if you have people going out there representing you, they need to be dressed in a very similar fashion. Okay? Business appearance. Okay, so you've got at least an understanding of how to present yourself. But beyond that, the question is, how do you present your business? The first question is, what is your business going to be? What is your image for your business? Because everybody's got slightly different views of this. It may be that you want something that's going to be big, that may ultimately become national. It may be that you want to focus on some high-end boutique kind of a business. You may focus on puppy training or group classes. You may be working in personal protection. There are any number of things you can be doing. You might be doing dog sports. But whatever it is, you've got an idea, hopefully, of what that, not only what you're going to be doing, but what that image is going to look like. How do you want to present it? And if you haven't thought about this, give it some thought. How do you want people to see you? Okay? Then you work on the image. The image can be a logo. Okay? Does anybody, you know what I'd like, because we can cut this. So yeah, let's cut it.